our channel. So this is going to be a different type of video.
Yes.
So it's about championing women leaders.
Yeah. Well, first we say that our hair is different, like obviously, so we tried to change things up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've both chosen 2 women each. We're going to talk about what we've taken from their individual journeys, like what's inspiring about it and why it's important to kind of put them in the limelight. Like
a bit of a girl power for this video because I mean I think it's an important topic.
Yeah. Okay, anyone who doesn't know, Winnie Mandela was the ex-wife of Nelson Mandela, who actually stood up against the struggles in South Africa, so the apartheid. When Nelson Mandela actually went to prison, Winnie was the face of the movement. She kept the voice going, she kept the voice alive. Obviously she wasn't perfect, she had her shortcomings, she made some mistakes in her path.
Everybody does.
Yeah, as everyone, but I just really wanted to focus in on her because she kind of maintained strength even at a time where black people weren't really allowed to go to school. She still managed to get herself an education. She stayed strong when everyone was putting down the movement, putting down everything that was happening to Nelson Mandela. She was even tortured herself in confinement, but you know, she still rose up and came up against apartheid. No matter what's going on around you, as women, I think we owe it on ourselves to keep on going and just keep on sticking to your goal.
Yeah, I think what Binta mentioned earlier, when we say women that we look up to, obviously we don't know every aspect of their lives, but we're just picking up particular aspects that we find particularly inspirational.
Yeah.
I think her valor and her courage and essentially her persistence in this particular situation is what we really look like, what is really inspiring and what we could all take from that.
Yeah.
She's a Nigerian author. I absolutely love her.
She loves her.
I absolutely love her. Like, I met her, I'm gonna put pictures of when I met her. I'm like, God, this is my person that I fangirl for like 110%. She's an author, she's very successful, she has many books like Purple Hibiscus, Half of Yellowstone, which was made into a movie.
Oh, that's a really good
Chiwetel Ejiofor, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. But yeah, it was a movie, and Americana, which is going to be a movie soon apparently with Lupita Nyong'o.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah, apparently it's going to be a movie soon. So like, she's a successful author, but that's not really, that's obviously really inspirational in turn. But for me, what really stands out for me is the way the issues she talks about. I find her topics, what she talks about, the difficult things that she addresses very important, like gender inequality. That's something I feel very passionately and strongly about. And I feel like to have a woman a Nigerian woman, because in Nigerian society is not particularly very forward when it comes to gender equality. So to have a woman to actually like talk about these issues and confront them head on, I find it really inspiring.
Yeah,
generally.
she speaks really well. Like some of her TED Talks are so
amazing. Like I think for me, I think I watched this. She made a speech at Wellesley College, which is a liberal arts college in America for women. And it was just, it's a 20-minute speech. I think everybody in life should watch it because it was awesome. And she just talks about so many like great things, and the way she speaks is just so beautiful. And the one thing that particularly stood out for me was something that she talked about being likable. Like girls are always being taught to be liked and having to change yourselves. And she says like, oh, please don't do that. Like don't bend and twist yourselves to be likable, because the world is so diverse. You will find people who really like you
for who you are.
Yeah, and I found that that's one of the things I feel like it's so important. People just being themselves, and women being themselves, and not to feel like they have to change or to conform to do other things.
So if you want purple hair, have purple hair. Whatever you want to do.
Whatever you want to do, just do it. Yeah, and there's another talk she did on gender stereotypes. I'm going to put all the links at the bottom of this so that you can all watch it, because I feel like she talks about issues that are so relevant to women, the inequality that we face in society, and being able to talk about it in an eloquent manner, and essentially making people aware of these issues, even though it's uncomfortable. She essentially encourages women to be themselves and to really see themselves as equals to men, which is something very valuable.
Yeah.
And I think it's completely inspirational.
Someone else who kind of made their mark in a typically male-dominated area, I would say, is Christine Lagarde. So yeah, she's done a lot for herself. So she's a French politician. Well, she started off as a lawyer, French lawyer politician. She started in Baker McKenzie, which is like a Chicago-based firm, and she rose through the ranks and became partner just in 6 years. So I think that's, you know, that says a lot about her dedication, her work ethic. She got to the top of that firm. She was a chairman actually there. And then she was appointed into politics. She had a range of different ministerial roles, and now she's heading the IMF, which I think is phenomenal in terms of her growth.
Yeah.
She is in finance, so anyone who knows much about careers, and you always hear, oh, it's a male-dominated profession. I just think, you know, she's really changed that in the eyes of so many people. The fact that she's basically leading the finance for like the richest nations in the world almost. I think the main thing I want to pull out from this is she was part of the French national synchronized swimming team, and I think that's really important to note, because synchronized swimming is when everyone goes left at the same time, everyone goes right. You have to be able to work as a team, and you know, as a woman, I think it's important, even just in general, just to be able to know that no man or woman is an island. You definitely do need people along the way, and I think that training that she had probably did help her in her journey. So yeah, I really took that on board. So
she makes it, like, obviously people, it always comes across that being in the corporate world is very difficult for women, and it is definitely very difficult, but then when you see women like that, it gives you hope that, okay, this is possible. So having her essentially lead that path makes it more realistic, and it gives you hope that you can actually do it too.
Exactly. There's so many things along the journey that make you feel, okay, do I really need this? Is this really for me? But she kept on going, and look where she is now. So I just think it's just a case of changing that perspective about how women are in the workplace. But
don't let any, all the negativity or all the things that you hear define you. Don't let them be like, oh, because they say women aren't going to make it, then I should just not try.
Yeah,
it's possible, so you definitely should always go for it.
Yeah.
She's an Italian member of parliament, and the reason she stood out for me really was, I saw a picture online, a picture of her. She was voting in parliament, and she had her baby. She was carrying her baby while she was voting. And I just thought it was like, oh my god, what? Because one of the main issues that I personally think about is the work-life balance. Like, how you gonna have a work life and have your children, not you know. And the picture really spoke volumes to me, because it just made it seem like it's possible, like it's practical. This woman was actually carrying her child and being in parliament. She had her things in, with the people in the suits around her. She was doing her thing with her child in her arms, and I was just like,
it's true.
This is why I was really impressed. And obviously I did some more research into her, and I think it's happened in 2010 when her baby was 6 weeks old.
Oh,
that's when she had the baby.
That's
that was the first time we saw that, and then I think she's been doing it ever since. So the baby actually comes to parliament now.
Oh my god.
And like, it's with her when she votes.
Parliament baby.
And there are some criticisms about it, like valid points have been raised about it. Like, obviously she's a member of parliament, so her salary is probably like more than the average woman, and obviously she has the option. What essentially matters is making it work. There's
so many ways to make it work now, especially with technology, even just other
like
jobs.
Obviously I don't think she's like she doesn't represent the face of like everybody. Like the criticisms, like, obviously she's not like the face of every woman in the world. We can't all take our kids into the office, and many of us don't even want to, and I completely agree that I don't particularly think I want to do that, but I do think that it's all about having your situation and finding a way to make it work for you, and realizing that it's possible. Just seeing that picture just made me think that, I mean, I'm pretty sure I might not be in that position, but I can figure out my way to make that happen for myself.
Yeah.
So essentially, it's possible to have that work-life balance, and don't be too scared about, you know, I have to give up one thing or the other. There will be sacrifices that will have to come, but then seeing women who find a way to make it work for them in their situation, I think that's really inspiring.
Yeah. Just in general, like, women who are in business or doing well in business are not, you know, better or, you know, more than women who are kind of focusing on family or even just focusing on their own other interests. So no one profession is, you know, better to have made it in than another one. I just think it's just like, you know, focusing, working hard, whatever you are doing, be good at it and be dedicated, and don't let outside pressures make you feel like what you're doing is not quality.
I think you should, you know, look good and speak good doing it. Like, one of the things about Jemima that I just love, one of the many things, is just the way she sounds. Like, when she makes a speech, the way she talks, she comes into the room, she commands attention, she sounds eloquent, she sounds intelligent. And I think as women, it's important to come across in that, like, strong, confident woman, and not, you know, don't shy away, there's no reason. This is part of why I think the message about being who you are is important, because I think once you fully embrace who you are and you work on yourself and make yourself the best version of yourself, then there's no reason why you can't walk into a room with your head up high, confident, say what you need to say, and people will actually listen to you respectfully.
Yeah, it's very true. And don't be afraid to stand your ground, because sometimes you might be interrupted or you will be shut down. You'll say something that...
It's part of life.
Yeah, it's just life. Like, if you get shut down, keep going. Like, Winnie Mandela, again, for instance, she was shut down, she was beaten down. Any manner of ways to kind of try and shut her down, she stood back up and she kept on fighting for that message. And today, you know, apartheid is no longer the case. So I just think, you know, she was the face of that struggle at that time, and it helps the nation a lot.
Yeah, it did. And I think this is really important. Like, I think this particular topic is important because I think women, young girls, young women like we do, you need people to look up to and to see that, you know, this is possible. Like, that's how the picture that I saw of the lady with the baby, it was like, this is possible. Have women that you look up to. Don't live in an island. Like, do your research, find other women who are in the particular field you want to go into, read about their lives, because people have done it before us, and people are actually making huge strides, and I mean, it's up to us to make it even better for the generation after us.
Yeah.
So I think always looking, do your research, find somebody who's like amazing at whatever you want to do, and then try and do what they do and do it much better.
Yeah, and mentorship is really important. So when we're talking about leadership, you know, a lot of the things we know and the things that we're talking about is because we've seen it in others, or we have mentors, aunties, mothers. It's really important to have mentors, just people you can talk to. I really like the way you did this, how have you managed to do it? Women especially, we need more of such. And I think, you know, going forward, this is something we're both going to do, because we're about to start our careers, and we're really keen to make sure we don't let any kind of mental barriers come through with us.
I think it's just something that people should, women especially, should keep in mind. Men as well, like, find your role models. And I think things like, for me, what my particular thing was gender equality and how that should not hold you back. And I think that's something that both women and men should, you know, promote, not just a women issue. It's kind of both men and women issues.
Yeah, it's true.
So yeah.
And we're not sitting here bashing men. I know when I told my friends I was making this video, they said, oh, you know, be careful, we have enough women bashing men. But even that attitude in itself is like, no one's bashing men.
We can empower ourselves without bashing men.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to be one or the other. Definitely not, which is what we're trying to do here. So just girls support each other. Women do things that when you leave, somebody else can look up to. Like, I feel like I'm grateful for people like women like Chimamanda, because I feel like she's done something that has actually impacted my life and the way I see things. So I hope to be able to do that for somebody else after me. So I think if everybody should strive, not only to take in everything that you get from people that have achieved things, but to actually make yourself a lesson for somebody else.
Exactly.
And let yourself be an example that somebody else would want to look up to and be like, oh, I want to be like her, or I want to do something that makes it seem like nothing is impossible. Exactly.
So because we all have our own unique abilities, our own gifts, there's no need like putting it to waste. So yeah. Okay, that's it from us. Leave us any comments,
any women that you think are really inspirational, anything about them that you think we should read. We would love to, you know more inspirational women. The more the better.
Yeah, girl power.
I feel like Spice Girls in the background.
I wanna really wanna zig a zig. If you want my future, forget